Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Financial Prepper. My name's Chris. This is Stacy, and today we're going to be talking about the banks that are going away. Is your bank going away? We hear this stuff all the time, and it's actual fact. This is happening. I want you guys to know about it. So hit the like and subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. And Stacy, I just want to get straight into it. What is that exactly going on with the banks?
Bank branches are closing, you guys, and I think this means basically bottom line is you're not going to be able to have access to your money. How are you going to get access to it? I'm going to read you some what just came out. This actually just came out. Bank of America has announced it will be closing several branches across the United States. They're going to be closing by the end of the year. Wells Fargo, Chase, different banks like that, they're also closing. And if you guys notice, and I've noticed this when I go into town, these big banks also are picking up these smaller banks. So it's becoming very interesting when it comes to the banks, and they're saying the popularity of online banking has resulted in major banks closing down physical branches, leaving customers with very few options on in-person. Also, with all these employees, where are they going to go? I want to talk about that. They said maintaining physical branches is no longer profitable, and therefore they're closing.
It puts me in mind of when I have an issue with YT, like you get a strike or something. There's nobody to talk to. Just like when you have an issue with our internet. You get somebody in India that doesn't know anything. And you're not going to be able to get anybody if there's something wrong with your funds, right?
Sounds like it.
It's a disconnect from you and your funds. It's really strange. And it's getting worse. The big six, JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon and his buddies, are consuming these banks all the time.
Look, Silicon, they just did that one. And the
Yeah,
government gave them
Valley
approval.
Bank. And banks are in trouble. Who's not in trouble right now is the repo man. They're very busy. We're going to get into that in the next video. But keep going. Do you have we have a list of the banks as well. I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, well, but what it puts me in mind is, and I was talking to Chris when I read this article, I was like, oh, okay, so we're going along with what's happening in society. Everything is going online, everything's going digital, but it's like they're forcing it. So they're saying, okay, we're not profitable, therefore we don't have a bank that you can come to. You're not going to be able to have an ATM, withdraw your money. You're going to have to do everything online. So is that forcing us toward the CBDC, toward the digital? So you're not going to actually own cash in your hand. You will not be able to actually access your funds. That's what it put me in mind of. If you have these branches that are closed, you can't get inside the bank. No ATM. How are you going to get a hold of your funds unless you use whatever app that they want you to use to pay?
Right. I mean, it puts you in mind of the debit card, right? It puts you in mind of something that we already have. But the CBDC is anything but. It's programmable money. I know we talk about it all the time. You guys know that. But as these banks go away and you're dealing, one day you'll have a Fed wallet with your Fed coin and all this, and you will be dealing directly with them digitally, and that'll be the CBDC. In the short term, is cash going away? Is that the question? Is cash, what do we do with our cash? Are we going to get hung up with it and not be worth anything? Is that a question you get?
All the time. So you guys, they just did an investment conference in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And George Gammon did a really interesting video. It's like an hour-long video. I'll try to find it if I can and put it in the description. But the gist of it was, CBDC, there's concerns of it, and they're pushing it. And so to me, I want to get back to the cash in a second, but to me, this is just one more way of them. I think they have a strategy, and I think this is one of their strategies where they're saying, hey, you guys, we're saying we have a loss of profit, which they very well might be, but it's just another way to push us into something digital, push us into using the type of payment that they want. And
make it inconvenient. People won't use it. They'll want to do the next thing.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they're doing. They're making it inconvenient, and they're losing money. They're having to pay tellers, having people run the bank, having to people. You have people getting loans that don't even have. What is it, a mortgage officer, or what do you call it?
Oh, yeah, so I was telling Chris, it's like, I know people that literally, you guys have known this for the past several years now. People get home loans, apply online, have never met their mortgage lender, their mortgage officer. Never met them. They come to the closing table, close, mortgage lender doesn't come to the mortgage officer, doesn't come to the table, and they literally have never met them. Everything is done online.
I really hated that, too. I hated, when we first started buying a house, I'm digressing just a little bit, but I wanted to walk up to the owner of the house and shake his hand and look him in the eyes and tell me about your house. That's what I want to do. That's how I like to do business. And it is not like that anymore. It's like, I want to do this with somebody. Well, email this and maybe a machine will get back to you. Yep. You know, it's really getting different, guys. And
they'll even tell you when you go to apply for mortgages, they'll say, get online, use this app, apply this way, we'll get back to you. But they're saying the CBDC, they're saying the reason why it's so important, they said this in the conference, is it's a necessity to keep the U.S. competitive against countries including China and Russia. They said the possibility of the U.S. being left out if other countries adopt CBDCs and we will not be able to trade. So I think that's where we're pushing with this. It says it's going to be programmable nature. We've talked about this. They were talking about the dangers. We've mentioned this before, potential social credit scoring, monitoring, loss of privacy, and all of that. But if this is their agenda, which I think is ultimately their agenda, and they're taking the baby steps where that just doesn't scare everybody at once, and they're like, oh, okay, I get it. You got loss of profit. We'll close some branches. Oh, I get it. You want us to use this app. Oh, yes, more convenience, online mortgage lending. Mm-hmm. It's just pushing us to where it'll be easier for us to accept the CBDC. But you were asking about the cash. I get asked that weekly. So if you have cash on hand and we go to something like this,
I don't think it's going away. I don't think it's going away. I don't think, if it does, it'll be fast. Through history, I want to say it was like 3 months. 3 months you had to turn your cash in. And I just don't see, it's the U.S. dollar is so massive. It's the world reserve currency. I mean, can you imagine what would happen in other countries? I don't see that. I think the dollar will be around. It will continue to lose its value. It will buy less. Mm-hmm. So people will be encouraged to get into other currencies, possibly a CBDC that's backed by the ground, the earth, the minerals, lithium, oil, and all these other things that bring it value. Where's that going to put the dollar? They're going to encourage you to get out of the dollar by devaluing the crap out of it, is what I think. Yeah. And if we keep going like we're going, if we keep on keeping on, it's not going to be long. $20 doesn't buy very much anymore. Is it going up in value? Is what you're buying better? Or is it taking more devalued currency to buy it? I would pick the latter.
Well, I'll give you a stat, and actually in one of the next video too I want to do, I want to give you some stats about what our dollar's done. Right now, if you went back to the beginning of 2020, for $100 you could get an X amount. Those same X amount of items, it costs you at least 120, maybe more.
Okay.
That was a grocery list that they showed.
It's 20%.
Yep. So there you
Lost
go.
20%. So, yeah, that puts me in mind of preps. Preps are going up. Tools are going up. Everything I'm buying, and it's not. It seems like it's kind of stopped a little bit, and it's kind of getting better. But it seems like it's just stalled. Now we're funding 2 wars. We're funding all of the entitlement class. I just drove to Oklahoma, and for 150 miles, it was infrastructure. And I don't mean a little bit. It was roads, bridges. It's nuts. I don't see how. And if you do, please tell me in the comments, how does our currency how do they not blow it up? How is it the first one in the history of man to make it? To be the world reserve currency forever? I just don't see it. But let me know. Let me know what you think. Are we on track? Is this right? Because this is what I feel is right.
Yep, so do I.
So guys, thank you for being here. Have an awesome, awesome day. Later.